Madam Commissioner and Chair, Honourable Minister of Agriculture of Ethiopia, Deputy Rep for WFP, Dr. Jones of FARA, colleagues of the CGIAR, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to congratulate IFPRI and its partners for organizing this very important conference. I want to thank them too for giving me an opportunity to make a very few brief remarks. Many who've spoken before me have outlined the challenge of feeding 2.5 billion more people by 2050. This is, of course, a very pressing challenge, made even more real by the fact that even as we consider how we will feed 2.5 billion more people tomorrow, there are already 1 billion who are hungry today. Poor producer response, diminished food stocks, erratic weather, high energy prices have all contrived to hinder the progress of agriculture. The food situation is therefore dire now and will continue to be so except we really strengthen our activities. As daunting as this task would be, it would be easy to throw up your hands and say, Inshallah. What will be, perhaps even. But that has not been the case here in Africa. Through the efforts of the African Union and CAADP, there is a plan, and many governments have already signed their compact and are moving ahead with the task. No more, nowhere a place is this more evident than here in Ethiopia, where the government has had for some time now a clear policy and investment plan to proceed with agricultural development to proceed with national development through agriculture. We salute the government of Ethiopia. At ILRI, the livestock center that I have the honor to lead, we also salute the government of Ethiopia because it is the one among few governments who have paid any attention to the livestock sector at all. Livestock, despite being about 40% of agriculture GDP, remains the Cinderella of the agricultural sector. The government of Ethiopia is investing assiduously to make livestock help people to overcome their poverty, but also to improve their food and nutritional security. My organization, along with other members of the CGIAR, will launch a new project called Meat, Milk and Fish in January in order to promote livestock development globally and here in Ethiopia. We have current plans to strengthen our efforts here in Ethiopia and to work very closely with the government and its other partners. The neglect of the sector is going to pose many challenges for us in the future. Many have said that Africa is growing, and as incomes rise, diets diversify. This is happening here in Africa, and it is evident that the growing demand for livestock products is largely being met by imports. Except governments were to strengthen their efforts in this area, the import bill for livestock products will continue to increase. Madam Chair, I have only a few minutes, but it would be remiss of me if I were to conclude these brief remarks without alluding to the fact that the livestock has a very negative image. There are those who say in order to save the planet, we should abandon livestock. And those who say in order to preserve your own health, we should eat no livestock products. To the first, I must say that the challenge, the livestock footprint, is true. It is a part of the agriculture footprint. But the solutions to it are well within the grasp of science and policy. At ILRI and with our partners, we are engaging this subject. Our efforts are aimed at greening the livestock growth. It is possible to reduce very significantly the livestock footprint and to make livestock systems more sustainable. Amongst the most important efforts that one can make is also that effort which one needs to make to reduce poverty. We must increase productivity. Several speakers have said that already. And so we must do for the livestock sector as well. If we were able to have the same cow which produces 2 liters of milk today be transformed into one which produces 10 or 20 liters tomorrow, we would have significantly reduced the intensity of livestock per unit of product. Our research targets this area. To those who address the overconsumption problem, let me say that there is a marked difference between the consumption in North America and Europe and here in Africa, where per capita consumption is only about 10 kilograms per person, whereas in Europe it is probably more than 60, and in North America even more. So, Madam Chair, as I conclude, let me say that in the CGIAR, we see no moral imperative between those who are poor and hungry and have no choice for food and those who suffer from overconsumption because of poor choice of food. I thank you.